everyone, it's Miss CogCouple here. Firstly, apologies for my voice, I'm ill again, but then it wouldn't be right talking about a new Gears if I wasn't ill, as it seems to be a new tradition of mine, albeit an unwanted one. So, anyway, have you finally calmed down and stopped replaying those Gears of War trailers? No? Me neither. Unless you've been living on Mars, you'll know Xbox released not one, but 3 new Gears trailers this week, completely spoiling us. We had Gears Tactics, Gears Pop, and of course, oh my god, Gears 5. So as it's my favourite, I'm going to lead with Gears 5 and save the other 2 for a separate video. In his interview for Inside Xbox, Rod Ferguson revealed that whilst Gears 4 was setting the base, establishing themselves as a studio and showing they can still make a successful Gears game, the mission statement for Gears 5 was to challenge expectations, and this included the story, gameplay mechanics, and art. The first thing that instantly made an impression and divided opinions was that Kate is the lead. In his interview, Rod confirms Kate is indeed the main protagonist of the game. Gears 4 was all about saving Kate's mum, and really, JD is there to help. So it makes sense Kate should step in and you play as her to continue the journey of discovery as to why she has this connection to the Locust and what's happening to her. I know there has been some negativity and backlash with regards to playing as Kate, but we personally feel it's a great move to bring that character out and put the player in the driving seat, so to speak. The opening scene shows Kate in one of the outsider villages, or possibly a cog settlement, looking devastated at the scene before her. It's more likely to be an outsider village due to the number of outsiders in the shot. It is unclear whether Kate is based at the outsider village or whether she's arrived from another location, but either way, the death of the individual before her is clearly a heartbreaking shock. It's not confirmed who has died, but general assumption with the fans is that it's her uncle Oscar. This would lead us to believe his surmise can't have been caused from his time inside the Snatcher, as Marcus also spent some time inside that gruesome beast and he lived to tell the tale. Perhaps he was killed getting back to the village, or maybe he was the village leader. We'll have to wait and see. Del is there and he holds her back and provides comfort, telling her he's sorry. JD also looks sympathetic and he says he's sorry as he gently grasps her shoulder, but Kate's reaction would lead us to believe that something maybe has happened between them because she gives him a look to suggest she does not want his sympathy. JD instantly switches into becoming more harsh and regimental and wants to move her on rather than giving her time to grieve. If it is indeed Oscar who's died, it's understandable why Kate's so devastated, as he was her last remaining family member after the death of her grandmother, Queen Mira, and of course having to kill her own mother, Reyna. In this scene, it's clear we've skipped maybe a few years since the end of Gears 4, with Kate and Del both sporting a new winter-style armour with fur trim. This appears to have been inspired by the armour Marcus was going to wear in Gears of War. There's some other cool little touches like Kate's earrings, her beaded hair, and Del's beanie hat. In contrast, JD and a new character with an English accent, Fars Tutani, are in full COG-style armour. And, they both have a new Lancer with what appears to be a grenade launcher in place of the standard chainsaw bayonet. With JD in his armour, it suggests he's returned to the COG, whereas Kate and Del chose to stay at an outsider village, perhaps. Del later says to JD, "Thanks for coming," and again this confirms they are separated from each other somewhat. JD is rocking a new shaved head, a thicker beard, and has a deep-set scar across his face and over one eye, together with a very strange-looking right arm. Our guess is that he has been bitten by the swarm, and this mesh device with a button on his arm activates some sort of medicine or control to prevent him from being taken over by the infection. This could link with later scenes whereby DBs are taken over by the swarm and used for their advantage. It soon becomes clear Kate has some unfinished business. Whilst clutching a Locust symbol necklace worn by her grandmother Queen Mira and given to her by her mother Reyna, she talks about how she's been having these nightmares. It's really obvious from their reaction that JD, Marcus and Del have not seen this Locust symbol on the necklace before, but they instantly know what it means and of course look visibly concerned. Marcus is clearly still part of the COG group, as when he suggests accompanying Kate on her mission, JD overrules him, telling him that First Minister Jin will notice he's missing, so instead tells Del he will send Jack the coordinates. JD tries to overrule everyone, telling them to follow orders. Kate certainly has other ideas and refers to JD as his informal title, Captain, and tells him to screw his orders, again hinting at this rift between them. JD voices his concerns over the Locust symbol on the necklace and what the effect her Locust origins may have. The next scene is a gorgeous mountain range surrounded by a frozen lake and looks like it could be Mount Kadar, a mountain region on Serra that had all access cut off by the Cog, and inside the mountain there was an old route that eventually led to Nexus, the capital of the Locust Horde. Getting on to scenery and the world itself, it's clear the game backdrop will be stunning. Rod talks in his interview about how they wanted to create the biggest, most beautiful world they've ever made, and with huge variety, from jungles to frozen tundras. And we get to see some gorgeous examples of that in this trailer, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what other types of scenery is going to be explored throughout the game. In this scene, Kate and Dell can be seen using a skiff to traverse a frozen lake, and it was interesting to hear Rod talk about how it won't be like the tanks in Gears 2, where you were limited to specific journeys. Instead, vehicles like the skiff will be used to open up the world and give the player more freedom and more choice. Wind is also a big factor, with it already being used a lot in Gears 4, to directly affect the player and the environment, for example with wind flares and storms, and so naturally they wanted the vehicle to be wind powered, and they've made it to be able to go across a range of lands, so you can take it across the desert, across the tundra, meaning there's going to be loads of places you can go with it. And also it makes sense to use the wind power as there is actually no functioning fuel on the planet. Next, Kate and Dale are abseiling into a jungle-style setting with Jack there assisting them. It looks like they're going down into the hollows towards Nexus maybe, possibly to find the Queen's Palace for answers. The trailer then skips into a gameplay scene where Kate and Dale are in what looks like an old battle scene from the Pendulum Wars and possibly walking through Ashfo Fields with UIR armor, tanks and war paraphernalia scattered throughout. The winter theme continues with Kate pushing her way through a snowy, icy forest before cutting to them arriving at New Hope, the facility in Gears 2. It appears this is the place Rod Ferguson was referring to when he mentioned in his interview about players getting to revisit the past. It is also the place Marcus refers to in the first scenes as the place up north where Kate can get answers. In the doorway is what appears to be an evolved flame grenadier with a helmet holding a mallet-type weapon with crystallized emulsion spikes. The next scene shows Kate using this exact weapon in her fight against the Juvies, so it's going to be interesting to see how this ends up in her position and how the beast faces its demise. The Juvies themselves do look a little different and they appear larger, perhaps, suggesting they have further evolved since Gears 4. In the next scene, we see that DBs are fighting alongside the Cog until a krill-like swarm creature infects them and turns them against Kate. There's also a new worm, snake-like creature which Kate stabs in the face with a knife, confirming that knife executions are definitely here to stay. We see further evidence of how the swarm infect the DBs, and in a cool twist, turns him into a living sentry gun. This was highlighted in Gears 4 when a pouncer put a spike in the back of Jin's robot, which made it attack JD. Kate is then trying to creep through the kitchen, and we see the freaky infected DBs, which really reminded me of the evil sires from Gears 2 and that eerie horror type feel. As she shoots them, you can see they evolve instantly, so even after losing an arm and legs, the DB monster still comes forward to attack, suggesting they have to be completely destroyed before you can rest easy. Finishing the scene, Kate pulls a snub on Dell, and it's clear her descendancy from Queen Myrrah is causing her some mental disturbance and anguish. She also asks Dell what JD told him, hinting further at this rift she has with JD and her untrusting nature towards him. One of the changes in Gears 5 is the use of motion capture for in-depth emotional scenes. Traditionally in creating Gears, they've always separated motion capture with voice acting, but in Gears 5, Ross said they wanted to take it to the next level by using performance capture for 4 or 5 critical scenes. In the opening scene, for example, they used PCAP to allow the players to really feel the dialogue and the body motion are in sync. And I think that's really noticeable in how it flows and the sort of strong emotion that comes across. It's going to be interesting to see what other key scenes have been created using PCAP. So, guys, that pretty much sums up this trailer breakdown. For me, the trailer gave me all we wanted to see and more. From the stunning backdrops to the gritty story, and of course, an exciting new Lancer. We can't wait to see what else is to come from this next installment of the game. As always, though, we like to hear your thoughts, good and bad, and also any ideas and conspiracy theories you have. So make sure you leave your comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course, add our game tag CogCouple when you're next playing Xbox so we can play some gears together. Until next time, bye bye.